Okay, today's daf ayin test in Gitin is it's one of those obscure dafim that deal with refuahs. There's a few in Shas and Avodah Zarah in the second Shabbos, and you have over here that deals with refuahs. It's basically reading through a bunch of substances which we don't know, which are just very, very obscure. So I thought a little different this evening to give a little overview before we do the daf of some of the idea of refuah. Now in Brachas, Daf Yud Aleph on the base, the Gemara tells us that Chizkiyahu HaMelech went ahead and he hid the Sefer Refuahs. There was a Sefer Refuahs that he hid it. And the Sefer Refuahs, according to the Ramban, right, was written by Shlomo HaMelech. Shlomo HaMelech was the Chachmei Kol Adam. He understood all the spices and herbs and grass, and he was able to go ahead and ascertain through everything and figure out exactly what the refuahs are. It was Sefer Refuahs. And he hid it. And why did he hide it? So again, Ramban in Vayikra, Ramban says that the people began to put their bitachon in the medicine and not have bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, he hid it, and the Chacham were happy that he hid it, because as a result of hiding it, people returned to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Sefer Refuahs, and as a result, people would have bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu rather than what? Than in the trufa in the refuahs. That's the Ramban Shita. Now the question is what was the Sefer Refuahs? Well, what was it? So there's a Pirush Mishnayos to the Rambam. I'll give you the source. It's in Masechta Pesachim. It's Perik Dalid, Mishnah Vav, and he says over there, Sefer Refuahs ain't a Sefer shekaseh by Refuahs Achaylim. It's not a refuahs for sicknesses. It's, in other words, it wasn't like you take an antibiotic. It wasn't like you take a steroid. It wasn't like a refuah, a drug that cause and effect. You know how it works, and therefore it works. Because if it was a safe refuah that would cure in the normal way, then Chizkiyahu wouldn't have gone ahead and hidden it. What are you going to say? What are you going to say, that people are going to put their trust in the drug rather than in HaKadosh Baruch Hu? A person who's starving for food, he'll eat. He'll go ahead and he'll thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for satiating him and giving him food. In other words, just because someone's getting something doesn't necessitate that why he's going to turn away from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the person who is starving, when he gets food, he benches and thanks Hashem, right? The person who's sick, and you get a trufa, you get a medicine that can go ahead and cure him, what's he going to do? He's going to thank Hashem. So the Rambam clearly disagrees with the Ramban that it would go ahead and cause a lack of bitachon. Again, he clearly disagrees with the Ramban. He says, Adarabba, if you have a medicine that's going to work, it's going to cause you to thank Hashem, just like if you're starving and you have food, it's going to go ahead and cause you to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu once you get the food. Okay. Anyway, so that would not be the reason that he would hide it. So he wouldn't hide it because of what? It's going to turn people away. Ella says the Rambam, and this again, it's the Perush Mishnayos of the Rambam, Mishnah Perik Daled and Pesach and Mishnah Vav. Ella Sefer Refuahs Haya Sefer Shoy Misrapoyim Boy B'Dvarim Sha'Torah Lo Hitiru L'Srapas Behen. It's using methods that the Torah did not permit. It used that, right? Kigoin Al Pi HaChoyzim B'Koychavim, the stargazers, Al Pi HaKoychavim Oisim Tzuros, and through that they would make certain images, which it's apparently had certain powers, and therefore that would cause you to believe in Avodah Zarah. It would cause you to Avodah Zarah. So the reason he hid it was not because of lack of bitachon, says the Rambam. The reason he hid it is because it would cause you to believe in Avodah Zarah, because if you're using methods that constantly can cure you from a disease, and they weren't methods that were, min ha-Torah, a Torah-tic source, rather a chisoniistic source, one of stargazing, and would lead you away from Avodah Hashem, that's why you hid it. So
That's not what's here, right? That's not what's here.
The question is what's here, right? The question is what's here, right?
No, slow. He wrote this one out?
No.
Oh.
Again, so according to the Rambam, Pashtus, it wasn't written by Shlomo HaMelech. I'm not sure of this. There is another opinion as to where it was written. There's a Tashbatz that is quoted in the Sefer HaDoros that in the Teva, there were all different types of diseases. From the animals, there was shadim on the teva, there were ruches on the teva, there were all kinds of heebie-jeebie stuff on the teva, and the Malach go ahead, therefore revealed to one of Noach's sons. It doesn't say which one. That he took him to Gan Eden, and in Gan Eden he was taught the secrets of the refuahs. And according to that, it wasn't by Shlomo HaMelech, it was him. So I'm not sure if that is the correlation. I'm not sure if that's the Rambam.
And the diseases that were on the table.
Yes. So it could be that, but again, it's mashma if a malach told him the source, it's a decent source. But again, that's the question. So again, it would certainly answer up, But again, the Rambam it's the Ramban that said that Shlomo wrote it. This is the Shittas of Rambam, who clearly disagrees with the Ramban. The Ramban said, like you always have learned. This is the way I always learned, according to the Ramban. A person went ahead, took this. Baruch Hashem. As we all know, when a person gets sick, we're putting up bitachon. There's a tefillah you're supposed to say that this should be poiled because right? You're supposed to say a tefillah that accompanies when you say medicine, because by nature it takes you away from bitachon. So it really made perfect sense that he hid it in order for people should have it. Okay. Anyway, so there is a separate opinion. There's a separate opinion who it wasn't Shlomo Gutter, it was Noach's son who gave it based upon a Tashbatz and Sefer HaDoros. And clearly the Rambam says that this Sefer Refuahs there's nothing good whatsoever. The sources were a source that were not the Torah driven, and therefore it was hidden for the purpose of not bitachon, but a purpose of keeping a person away from Avodah Zarah. That was the Pirush Mishnayos of the Rambam. Now
that would make sense. The Rambam was a physician himself, so he clearly believed in refuahs.
He definitely did believe in refuahs, but again, he did not believe that. He believed in refuahs that would work. He believes in refuahs that would work, and there were, and therefore it would be l'shita, so very logical. The Rambam being as logical as possible. Now we have over here in our Gemara, we're going to do tonight a daf of a list of diseases and specific ways to cure the diseases in very bizarre ways. And the question is, does this have anything to do with the Sefer Refuahs or not? Is this just what's going on over here, or it has to do with the Sefer Refuahs? So now, I doubt if they're covered by insurance, though. But Sandberg, get out. Anyway, so now there's a Eitzer Againim brings a tshuva from Rav Shri Ragon, and the blog is going to love this, from Rav Shri Ragon, who says the following: Shein lismoch bismanenu al refuahs hagemara. Bisman hazeh, you can't be somach on these refuahs. Mekiven shechachmei haTorah lahaya roifim. The chachmei haTorah, the Amoraim, they were not doctors. Ela shekasu b'gemara harefuahs sheshtamshu behem bismanom. They wrote down the refuahs that was used at the time. V'ro shehem ha'ilu, and they saw that they helped. Then kain harihem kechala adam shoyim refuah. And therefore, they're like anybody else. In other words, there's no guarantee that those refuahs who worked in those days is going to work in our days, because they're not telling you, I'm a doctor, here's the cure. They're saying, oh, by the way, in our day and age, when we lived, this was the refuah of the time, but there's no guarantee that what? Says the Shiragon, you would have to try it, and if it worked, it worked. You'd have to try it, and if it worked, it worked, right? That's what Shiragon. Masham of Shiragon, there is no problem of trying these things in the first place, which we'll get to eventually, okay? We'll get to that soon. But right now, we're Sefer Refuahs according to Shlomo. Yes, it was written. Whether this is the Sefer Refuahs according to Rav Shiragon, it doesn't seem it was. It doesn't seem it was, because I assume the Sefer Refuahs according to Shlomo really did work. right? And if according to even the Rambam, whatever they did work, or else it would not cause you to go ahead and serve Avodah Zarah. According to Rav Shira Gaon, there's no guarantee it would work, because why? Because this wasn't written by Dak, this was written by ever at the time. Okay, so now exactly the key to the sugya is the Marsha. I sent it out. I sent you a lot of stuff out today, guys. I sent you out one of the things I sent you out is the Marsha. I'll post it up in a second. Let me see if I which one is it? No. Okay, here we go. This Marsha is Eifen Art. It's Daf Samich Tes in our Masechta. The one that says L'dama Dereisha, guys, it's underlined. The word L'dama Dereisha is underlined. You see it? You have it? Okay. So L'dama Dereisha is high blood pressure. That you have blood in your head. I mean, it's called blood pressure. Now, this is the introduction to the whole Daf Refuas. Yesh lishol b'chol hani refuas haniskorim b'hai pirka. That's a question. All the refuas that are mentioned in this parak, gam b'perak ein ma'amidim, which is a Masechta Avodah Zarah. Amai kosvuhu Ravina Ravashi b'Talmud. Why would Ravina Ravashi write it down? Harmina perak hamid the brachas. The pasuk. He's quoting brachas Daf Yud Amid Beis. Vatov beinecha asisi shegonas Chizkiyahu sefer refuos. That Chizkiyahu hid the sefer refuos. That's in other words. Kidei sheyivakshu rachmim, in order that people should daven. V'shabchu chachamim al zois. The chachamim, they went ahead and they praised him on this. They praised him. In other words, so question, according to the Marsha, what do you see? This is the Sefer Refuos. Why would Ravina and Ravashi, the ones who quote the end of the Gemara, why would they write down the Sefer Refuos if Chizkiyahu hid it? So you see from the Marsha's question, what does he hold? That this, in fact, is the Sefer Refuos. That the Gemara is the Sefer Refuos. Now, so V'yesh liyashev, Vaday nitain mishus l'rapois uleida refuos kol chalam. Vaday, everyone has mishus to know the cures. Ella she'ein roy legales kulam lechol adam. It's not roy to reveal to everybody. Mishum inshi delay mile, because the guys who aren't so good. Shlei yiftechu b'Hashem, because then they will not be talking. Ella b'refuasam, only in the refuah. In other words, so the Marsha is learning when they hit it. They didn't hit it from everyone. They hit it from certain ones. They didn't hit it from everyone. In other words, there were people who knew it. He hit it from the Hamaynam. He hit it from the general population. But the ones who knew it, Baal Peh, they knew it. The reason we can write down the whole Mishnayos and the whole Gemara, you're not allowed to write Mishnayos. Why did they write down Mishnayos? Of course, as people increase with forgetfulness, it was permitted to write it down. That's the reason Rabbi gave a heter to write down in the first place. Says the Marsha Chiddush Nifla that the Sefer Refuos is at the same as the Torah Baal Peh, just like the Torah Shebal Peh. Using the svara of Eis Lasosh Lashem Eifei Tervaska, it shouldn't be forgotten. The Sefer Refuos, which was hidden not from everybody, it was just hidden from the general population, but it was given over to what? The Chachamim. The Chachamim saw that it'll be forgotten as well, and therefore, what did Ravina Ravashi do? Right? When we said Tira She'ena Talmud. Okay, so that's the reason, according to the Marsha. We are speaking about the Sefer Refuos. This, in fact, is the Sefer Refuos, and in fact, it was when it was hidden from the general population, but not from everybody. and the ones who knew it, and now as a result, they figure they have to write it down. So clearly he argues on the Rambam, Gemara is the Sefer Refuos. Gemara is the Sefer Refuos, and he just finishes off. When we talk Tira, Shein Talmud Chasa Mikol HaChachmos, you'll see that in the Gemara there's nothing missing. Ki lechol chayli timsa b'refuah shleima. Every chayla, every disease, it's possible refuah shleima, v'amitis, and truthful, l'mevinim l'shoinam, to those who understand the language and understood the cures. V'al yoyma ha'malag al-chachmei ha'talmud, and people should make fun of the Gemara, shayu chaserim echachmas ha'refuah, that in some way, somehow, they were what? They were missing the chachmas ha'refuah. So therefore, says the Marsha, a very fascinating idea, that this was the Sefer Refuos, using the concept of Eis Lashem Lashem Le'Fir Teirascha, right? He wrote it down, and we have it. Now the question is, can we use it? The question now that's another question. Now clearly, according to Rav Shira Goin, you could if you knew what you were doing, right? You could if you knew what you're doing, but it doesn't seem that that's the case by everybody. Let me get another. Okay, this was a Tosfos we had in Masechta Moed Katan. There's a Tosfos in Masechta Moed Katan, Daf Yud Aleph. Guys, you see Masechta Moed Katan Yud Aleph. Okay, now the Gemara says, when is the best time to eat fish? Kavra soymich lemesricha maili. Fish right before it gets spoiled. That's the best time to eat fish. Guys, that as I state in Gemara Moed Katan, the best time to eat fish is what? As I state us. Now, says Tosfos, guys, Kavra soymich lemesricha maili, ubizman hazeh toifsim sakana lemeichal soymich l'sirchnim. Anyone eats fish that's close to its spoilage, guaranteeing you'll be in terrible, terrible trouble. The gam mishtei Allah avua. And if you drink on it, the mile later on, the Gemara is discussing something there. I don't know. The Shema nishtanu, perhaps things have changed. Kimaya refuos b'shas, just like the refuos in Shas. She'ena toivus bisman hazeh. They don't work bisman hazeh. Says the Tosfos, you can do it, but it's not going to work because nishtana hateva. Things have changed. It's not the same anymore. So therefore, you can't do it. No, but you could do it, but in fact, it's not going to work. You could do it, but it's not going to work because nishtana hateva. So Tosfos, as opposed to Rav Shira, says openly, these are refuos, and the Amorim knew what they were doing. This is the Sefer Refuos. The disagreeing Rav Shira clearly that this is the Sefer Refuos. The Marsha is disagreeing Rav Shira going. He's saying this clearly was the Sefer Refuos, and the question is, can you do it bisman hazeh? Says Tosfos, it's not going to help if you do it. Why? Because nishtana hateva. Tosfos Moed Katan Daf Yud Aleph. Tosfos Moed Katan Daf Yud Aleph. What? Yeah, but it works for different people. Over here, it doesn't work for anybody. But you're right. There are different people.
Rabbi, so you have to say, but except for the thing to say Badik and Manusa, right?
Hang in there. Now, there's a Kesef Mishnah in Hilchos Deis, Perik Dal Halacha Yud Beis. The Kesef Mishnah said that this only worked in Bavel. It only worked in Bavel. In other words, it could be I was told this, I don't mean this facetiously, that the best bagels are in Brooklyn because they say the water in Brooklyn is different than other places. Again, why is that? It doesn't make any sense, but the best bagels are in Brooklyn. I mean, I'll have to make the comparison, but in other words, there's certain places that so maybe the land that produces this crop, the water of Bavel, the mixture of Bavel, says the Kesef Mishnah, who lived in Eretz Yisrael, right? Yosef Cairo. He lived in Eretz Yisrael, so therefore it only worked in Bavel and didn't work in other places. I don't know if you go to Bavel Bisman Hazeh and do it would work. Okay, now until now we've said these are people who said that you could do it, but it's not going to help. There's a bigger shita, guys. There's a bigger shita. Okay, the next shita is the shita. This is brought down. This is a Chedusha of Akiva Ega. It's in Yeridea, Simin Shin Lamed Vav, Sif Aleph. Okay, and this he quotes the Maharil. Listen to this Maharil, guys. Nasna Torah reshus l'roife. The Torah gives reshus for the roife to cure. Maharil bilikutim shebasayf seif. I think it's memvav. Isya v'zel shaynai. Amalonu Maharil. Maharil was from the guys of Rishonim. Kol harefuyos shebechol Talmud. Asa l'nasei seisam. Asa. Asa l'nasei seisam. It's asa to do. It's asa to do. Mishum dein adam yochel lamoid al ikron. Because a person can't get it right exactly. And when they don't work, they'll begin to laugh and berate the chachamim milvad. Stop. We know, we just did the Gemara when Unclis called up who? Yeshua Noitzri. And he said, what's your nidin? Because every day I'm in Soyrei Sachas. Why? Anyone who laughs and scoffs, the nidin is Bitsoyrei Sachas. So again, if it says the Maril, if you're going to do it and it doesn't work, you know what you're going to do? End up doing? You're going to end up laughing and questioning the Chachamim, saying they don't know what they're talking about. So therefore, not that you can do it and it won't work. It's usher to do it. It's usher to do it. Guys, listen to this. The Yamshel Shlomo in Perikol Abasa, Siman Yud Beis, he says, Yesh Chayrim Kadmoini. You're in Chayrim from the Kadmoinim, from the Rishonim. You're in Chayrim if you would go ahead and do this. Probably earlier in the Rishonim. The Kadmoinim, you'd be put in Chayrim for going ahead and trying this. So we're going to do this Gemara evening again. Don't do it. Don't try it at home. Don't try it at home. But again, just Yehuda Horowitz mentioned something. Here's the Chlusha B'Kivega. Now, until now we're discussing refuos. There's also incantations. There's also things such as lachash. They would say certain things. Milvad hadi isa b'Shabbos seif perek b'ma'isha. Misha yetzlem etzem b'groinev. If a person is choking from a certain object, let's say you have an etzem, you have a bone in your throat. Maybe let's say you have a fish bone, so bring a fish. You have a meat bone, bring a meat of the same species that's stuck in your phone. And he said from that exact bone, put it on the person who's choking's head. And say the following: Chad chad nachas bala, bala nachas chad chad. 1 nachas bala. You should go ahead, be there and swallow down. Bala nachas chad chad. The lachash hazeh, this lachash, bodik umenusa. It's guaranteed to work. It's checked out and it works. This incantation alone is permitted. That's the lashon of Kiv is being down the maril. So that of the bone being stuck, if you bring the min of that bone, you say chad chad nachas bala bala nachas chad chad. It's machlokes in the girsa. What exactly you're supposed to say? That is the original Heimlich maneuver. That is guaranteed to work. So the question is, what about other incantations? What about other incantations? What about b'derech klal, a lachash, when you say certain things? Say certain lachash. So here's the lashon of the Rambam. Okay, I had too much on the screen. I don't want to drive this crazy. So this Rambam is Yud Aleph from Hilchas Abaydas Kechavim. This Rambam is found in Hilchas Abaydas Kechavim, Yud Aleph Tezayin. The Devarim Elu. Now he's discussing Kishuf. He's discussing Ov Yedoni, all the things that people are chayv skila for. If they practice, do they really work? Devarim Elu Kulam Divrei Sheka. These things are all Sheka. They're all baloney. The Chazav and lies haim. The haim shehitu behem the kadmoinim legoya ratzais. The goyim used to use this to go ahead and trick the people. Kadesh yanhigu achreyem, in order they should follow them. In other words, they would follow them thinking that they have power. They're the smartest of the smartest. To go after these foolish things. And it shouldn't enter your mind that there's any good coming from these things. So this all the Rambam says. All these things, this magic and incantation, it's all a bunch of bunk. It's all a bunch of junk. Okay, there's one more thing I put out there. There's one more thing on your phone. Okay, the last thing on the phone as a means of of introducing to the shir. One more thing. Okay, this is in Yeridea Simon Kuf Ayin Tes. Yeridea Simon Kuf Ayin Tes. And it's the Mechaber, he just went ahead and he quoted the Rambam that all these things don't work, but if it makes you feel good, you can do it. In other words, do it on Shabbat. You can say it. It sometimes gives a person a false hope. Okay, so listen to the Gra, guys. The Vilna Gaon. I underlined it in Yud Gimel. I'm going to just make it a little big over here. I make it a little bigger, much bigger over here. Okay, Harambam. So he's quoting I said Mechaber is quoting the Rambam. The Chen Kosav the Perish HaMishnayis, the Perik of Dalil Abayis Kechavim. That's what we just said, guys. That was the Perish Mishnayis that we did. That you know what? All these things are from the not true. Aval Kol Aboyim Achrav, says the Vilna Gaon. Aval Kol Aboyim Achrav. Everyone who came after the Rambam, Cholku Olav. They argue on him. Shahari Harbe Lachshim Nemru B'Gemara. Many Lachshim are said in the Gemara. Now, why are they quoted in the Gemara, these incantations? Why they quoted in the Gemara? It must be because they work. Says the Gra. So why did the Rambam say they don't? For who nimshach achrei halaf, right? And the Rambam, he was influenced by philosophers. U'lachein kosav sheksofim v'shemais v'lachshim v'shedim v'kemeyos hakalu sheker, and therefore he said it's all a bunch of junk. Al kvar havu soy al kakadai. We already hit the Rambam on his head. Shevitzinu harbe me'asenu. Many people from us. Igla Tilsa, the Gemara, they made an Igla Tilsa of Shabbos, Rabbi Shua Damasham. In other words, there's different things that the Gemara mentions that they're able to do. So obviously the Rambam was incorrect. So this is the Shittas of Rambam. The Shittas of Rambam that these incantations don't work, and the only one that does work, he even say it does work, is the one that was quoted by the Maharil. So this is a machloikas between the Rambam and the Vilna Gaon as to everything that works. So this is a general idea of what we of refuos, a general hakdama to refuos that Baruch Hashem had a little time to spend doing today. So going over it, according to the Marsha, clearly this is the Sefer Refuos. From his question, you see it is the Sefer Refuos, right? That this is the Sefer Refuos. How do you have right to write it down? Because it was going to be lost. When he said Chizkiyahu hid it means he hid it from the general population. It wasn't hidden from the Chachamim of the time. If as a person able to go ahead and practice this, or Tosfos says it won't help because Nishtanu Ateva. If Shira Gon says it's not even medicinal, we don't know if at times it will help. People at the Chesef Mishnah says it won't help because maybe it only helps the people in Bavel and not necessarily people in the general population. And the Maharil, the Rabbi Kiva says, not only won't it help, it's usher to do. It's usher to do because when it does, first of all, you don't know the amounts, you don't know exactly exactly the volume, exactly the mixture, exactly what's supposed to be. And when it doesn't work, you'll come to go ahead and question the Gemara. What? Not from the Gemara. The only thing we do from the Gemara is that what? The pigeons doesn't say in the Gemara. That pigeons, the pigeons does not say in the Gemara. Again, it doesn't say anywhere in the Gemara what you by hepatitis. Okay, Avram is saying that it doesn't say in the Gemara, Avram. It's not. That hepatitis, people who suffer from hepatitis, they take a pigeon and they take the rectum of the pigeon and put it on the navel of a person, and it sucks out the bile, and it works. It does work, but it's not stated in the Gemara. That l'chayre, they had a Kabbalah on that. They had a Kabbalah. There's certain things that people have a Kabbalah on. Again, the Rambam doesn't give credence to Kameyas, the amulets we're discussing, but the people who Kameyas, a Kameya that is Badik and Manusa that it works, you're able to walk out with on Shabbos. You're able to walk out on Shabbos. So obviously it does exist. It does exist. It's a fascinating topic. Certainly, if we did know exactly that. Now, I'll just mention one thing that to me is, even forget Sefer Refuos. We had a Gemara in Ksubis where they did brain surgery. We had a Gemara in Ksubis where they did brain surgery. There was a parasite on the head, and they had to take a leaf. They gave exactly how to open up the skull, soften the skull, remove the skull, take a leaf, have the parasite walk onto the leaf, because if you pull it directly off, it's going to take a piece of the brain with it, because of it's I forgot iron. It's the ions in Ksubis. I think it's the ions in Ksubis. So I mean, they certainly were far more medicinally, in the future than we think they were. We think of, again, certainly over time things have been lost. But the Gemara basically is, you're going to see, I'm going to read through the Gemara. I have nothing more to say about it. That's why I wanted to give you a geschmack and a tam for this. With a general going through a lot of, the blog will be full. Anyways, give you a lot of stuff. Okay, so where are we going to be? We're going to begin on Samich Ches Amid Beis, Samich Ches Amid Beis, L'Dama Dereisha. L'Dama Dereisha, which seems to be blood in the head, seems to be some type of. Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 lines up to it in the middle. L'Dama Dereisha. Leisi Shuvina Ubina V'Asadara. You bring, again, I'm using Otzkol's words. I have no idea what they are. Boxwood, willow, I know. Myrtle, we know. Zesa, olive, silpa is poplar. We know that. Chilfi, the yama, v'yivla, cloves and yivla. Take all that. Look, ninu bahadi adadi. Boil them together. The little plasma kase ahagisa dereisha. Put 300 cups on one side of the head. The plasma kise on the other side of the head. If that doesn't work, I have a different remedy. Let's say vardo chivra, being a white rose, the koi bahade dora, that all stand in one row. The leaves are all in one row. The shakle, and boil it up. The little shisa kasi ahai gisa dereisha, pour 60 cups on one side. The shisa kasi gisa dereisha, 60 cups on the other. This seems like an easier way, right? It's a lichta. That's for migraine headaches. Rashi says half a head is for migraines. Lacy Tanagolta Bara, you bring that chicken we met yesterday that had the shamir. For the shachti bezuze chivra, you go ahead and you shecht it using a silver coin that was sharpened up, a zuz coin, a hukisa de kayavle on the side of the head which aches. Then this darmid the may the simnu le'ene. Be careful that the blood doesn't drip in the eye because it would blind you. For the slaye besi for the baba, then hang the chicken by your door. Of the one that's sick, the chi'ayil chayif. So when he goes in, he brushes against it. V'chinafik chay, basically brushes against it on Amid Aleph. Levrukte for cataracts. Okay, for cataracts. Leise akrapta deshev chayme, being a scorpion that has 7 colors. I saw a shot. A scorpion has 7. Ever see the tail of a scorpion? It has like little crevices. It's not straight. It has one that has 7 curves, like looks like vertebrae. When uniyavshe betula, dry it out in the shade. The nishcha, grind it up. Tarti mincha the chukla v'chada manslamine, 2 parts of something called antimony, 1 part called scorpion. Umale tlosa makachle ba'ena, put 3 doses in one eye. Utlosa machle ba'ena, 3 in the other eye. Tfeiloi lamale. But more than that, not the loy paka ena, the eye may jump. It's crazy that. In other words, they had a cure for cataracts. Whatever it is, we need surgery to go ahead and remove the lens, and they had a cure for cataracts. Whatever it is, there was a cure for cataracts. It's fascinating. L'shavrire delayla, for people who have night blindness. Nese shudr barka, bring a rope of animals here. The nese chada karamine, tie one of his legs to the end of the rope. The chada kari mekalba, and one leg to a dog. The nitrafa yenuke chasbe abasre, the children should go ahead and they should rattle pottery behind them, the lamer the lay, and they should say that the following incantation, which we just spoke about. Asa kalba achsa tarnagoyla, old dog, a mad chicken. Shev umse mishiva bate, he should get 7 pieces of meat from 7 houses. Lesvinu nele betzinur dedasha, he should put it in the doorway of his house. Nechlinu bekilkula demasa, he should eat the meat by the city garbage dump. Basachi afterwards, lifshait shudra barka, he should take the animal's hair from off his leg, the name of Hachi, and should say, Shavriri de Pliny bar Planisa, the blindness of so and so, the son of such a woman. Shavkina le Pliny bar Plinus, leave him alone. L'chayri le kalba base de ene, he should go ahead and blow into the eye of the dog. The Shavriri the imama for people who can daytime blindness. Lacey shiva sumki, the gava the chivosa, bring 7 spins from 7 freshly shachna animals. And it vinu achaspa the umna, they should go ahead and roast it over the pottery of a bloodletter. That's where the blood collects. The blind man should sit inside his house. Another person who could see should be outside. And namely, Avira, the blind person, should say to him, Havli the echel, give me this means to eat. But namely, Heich Psich, and the other one should say to him, Sav echel, take and eat. Ubasa dachel, after he eats, litre lechaspa, break the bloodletter's pottery. The Eloi Hodju Lave, it's going to come back. The Dama the Asay Minachira, person who has a nosebleed. Lacey Gavra Koyin the Shmei Levi. You should bring a Koyin whose name is Levi. The Lichtav Le Levi Lemafreya. You should write the name of Levi backwards. The Eloi Lacey Inshemi Almi should bring another person. Benichtav Le, and should write him the following Nichush. Ana Papi Shila Bar Sumche Lemafreya. I Papi Bar Shila backwards. The Eloi Nichtav Le Hochi. Tam Deli B'Mekesef, the taste of a bucket in water, of silver water. Tam Deli B'Mei Pagam, in tainted water. The Eloi Lacey Ikra da Aspasti should bring the root of an aspasta plant, the Ashla de Peria Atika, and he should go ahead and the rope of an old bed. Again, they had ropes underneath the bed that was used to support the mattress. The Kutoma Mariki, reg paper and saffron, the Sumka de Luliva, the red part of a palm branch. When the Chlinu Bahadi they burn them all together. The Lacey go over the armor, bring a ball of wool, the Nigdal Tate Pesilta, twist and form two strands. Vili Hamish Bechala, they should stick it in vinegar. The Nigdale Bekit Mahadain, they should go ahead and roll them in the ashes. The Nese Benechari and put him in his nose. The Loi Lichsi Ama Hamayan Laazas Mizah Klapi Morav, find a canal where the water is going from east to west. And Vanasa step over it. Venekim Chad Kara Lagisa, stand one foot on one side, Chad Kara Lagisa, one from the other side. Venishkal Tina Biyade the Yamina, Mitute Kara. The Smoley should take mud from his right foot, from beneath his left foot. Biyadi the Smoley Mitute Kara di Molam. On his left hand, he should take mud from under his right foot. The Nigdal Tarti Silta the Amra, twist two strands of wool together. The Nitamish Bettina, immerse them in mud. The Nesa Benechiren, and then he should put them in his nostrils. The Eloi. Lese Tute Marzova, you should bring a water spout. Venese Maya, you should bring water. The Shadi Allah pour it on through the spout. A limit say the following: the Paski Maya, just the water stops. Lifts the Maya the Panya by Panisa, so to the blood of so and so should stop. The Damadasim Puma person has bleeding from the mouth, but Kinole Begilo de Chitza, he should test her with a straw of wheat. Isarech, if the blood sticks to the straw, may Reya Kasi, it's coming from the lungs, Vislate the Kanta, and there's a cure. But if the blood is so thin, it doesn't stick, then we carve the kasi, comes from the liver, the less they hakanta, and there's no remedy for that. Amalei Rav Ami Ravashi, but not ibchat. Now we learned the opposite. Why do we say that? What? That when it comes to defects, over here it's mashmal, a liver is okay, a liver is more severe than the lungs. But when it comes to trephus, guys, it says nitul kovid. If the kovid is taken away, but in the shtari menu klum and nothing's missing, then it's a trefa. But as long as a little bit of the liver is there, it's okay. Hareya, regarding the lungs, shenikva or shechasra, that has a hole or chasra, then it's a trefa. So you see the lungs is what is more severe than the liver. Says the Gemara, Amalei, even the mipume kasi, since it's coming from his mouth, ismach. I'll say that what? The liver was totally gone. There's nothing there. The liver is more the liver is less chaman. So the Yumashim, it's more chaman. That's no. I'm going to say there's no liver at all. Amamar imereya akasi isle takanta. Right, my takanta. What's the takana for blood coming from the lungs? Lacy shiva kune mipimir the silka, being 7 fistfuls of sliced beets. The shiva kune primir the karte, 7 fists of sliced leek. The chamisha kune preda, 3 fistfuls of something called preda. The lostolsa kune de talpiche, 3 fistfuls of lentils. The kune de kuma, a fistful of cumin. The kune de chable, a fistful of chable. The kinegdon kanta pitri, and a matching amount of fat from a firstborn animal. L'bashli lechel, cook it all together, eat it. The lishte abasri shichva, charif for the teves, and afterwards you should drink some strong spirit that was fermented in the month of teves. Lakacha, for toothache. Amarav Ravuna, lesek tuma yichidoi, bring a head of cabbage, garlic, that has 1 clove. Then a mise be mishcha or milcha, grind it together with oil and salt. Then esev at tuflori delioni, put it on a thumbnail. Now hukisa the payavle on the hand, that's the side that aches. Your toothpaste on the right side, put it on your right thumb, left side, left thumb. When the hadle daifri delisha, surrounded with a ring of dough. Then his the bisra, be careful that the garlic doesn't touch his flesh. because of the chivra, because it can cause leprosy. The chinche for chinche, and for inflammation of the tonsils. Okay, you have a 4-step remedy. The first step, Rabbi Yochanan, chumse ki mamra, right? Perithium leaves are expected as bald money. Okay, the ikra of the chumse adif mimare, in the root of the perithium plant is better than bald money. The ninka pupu may keep it in the mouth for some time, and hani look may that's to stop the swelling. The shule to form an abscess. Lese pari deresh nafya, being bran from the top of a sifter. The talpachei ba'afrayu, and lentils. The shublita and fenugreek. The chumra the kshusa, and a blossom of a hop. The nivik be'akuse bepume, keep it a nut-sized amount in your mouth. Le'aftuche, that swell the abscess that it should burst open. Linpach lechavei tachli chivra begila dechitza. A person should blow a white crest into the person's throat through a wheat straw. Suke, to get new fresh skin after the abscess was open. Leise afa mitula debe hakise, you should bring dust from the shade of a base hakise. Benigval bedufsha v'nechel, mix it with honey. You need it. The malale, because this is very effective. The barsame, for barsame, it's inflammation of the mucous membrane of the head. Okay. Leise ki pistakar de nitsha, being a cetus cone volume of amniotic. Chiamguza de chalbanisa, dufshana, a nut-sized mouth of sweet galbanim. Umalei karvoda dufsha chivra, a spoonful of white honey. Umalei natla bas mechusa cham and akida. Mechuzite, that's a nuttl is a amount of clear wine. Then ishlinu b'hadidadi, cook it all together. Chibashal nishta b'shal lekule. When the amniotic is cooked, you should be sure he drinks the whole thing. In loy, laser revisa the chalva the isay chavarta, bring a reus of milk of a white goat on the base, right? In the tafia atalsa kalche karva, let it drip over 3 cabbage stalks. The nivchashe begavna de marmarin, and store it with what? With a twig of marmarin. Chibashal gavza the marmarin, bashal lekula. When the marmarin twig's been fully cooked, then you should drink it. Beloy lacy nafka the kalba chavira, being the excrement of a white dog. The nigval b'natfa, go ahead and eat it with balsam and eat it. The kama de efsha the mimrik, because it's right. Nafka neichal. If it's possible, don't eat the excrement, because that's going to cause you to have diarrhea. The gira, lese gira the lilsa, being an arrow of Lilith. Lilith was usually was a demon, female demon.
Was here?
No.
Okay.
He says Rashi says it's some type of hailstone. The nifche, turn it upside down, and shade maya lave b'nishte, pour water over it, drink it. The eloi, right? I don't know what gear is. It's some type of disease, piercing disease. Like gear usually is an arrow, so it pierces like an arrow. Anyway, so eloi lesi maya dishti minai kalba the belayla, bring water that a dog drank at night in his diary in the kulta, and be sure that it wasn't left out that a snake could get it. You should have a problem with giloi. The galuya for drinking water that was gilui, if you drank water that possibly a snake had drinking from, a nafka the chamachaya, drink an ampik of diluted wine. It's very interesting that this is gilui is also something we're not careful. We saw a Tosfos, guys, in Yuma, Daf Ayin Zayin on the base. There's a Tosfos there that Ayin Zayin on the base says that certain things that they were makbid on were not, such as luchais, different shadim, such as zugais. Even numbers. We have this whole Gemara in Psachim, how we could drink 4 cups of wine. You're not supposed to have zugais, right? And so we're not makbar on that. We're not makbar on zugais, and we're all not makbar on gilui, right? As long as there's no snakes in your locale, you can leave. If something's left out overnight, you don't have to worry about a snake coming. Go ahead and indulging. Okay, lemursin for an abscess, right? Anakba de chamra, anpaka, an ampak of wine. Bahala the talana with red aloe. The pircha the liba, a person who faints. Lese tlas burish yasa de sare, bring 3 loaves of barley bread. And the shtarinu bekamcha de le'ova ilave abiyoimin, soak them in chamka, whatever that is, that's less than 40 days old. V'nechel, eat it. V'nishtei abasrayu chamar maka, and therefore you should drink water or watered down wine. Amalei Rav Achim idifti l'Ravina, the koshkin the parach libe. If you do this, certainly you'll faint away. Amalei, anoli yuka delibe ami. I said for the person who has a heavy heart, not a faint heart. The pircha delibe for a faint heart. Lese tlas bor shiyasa dechite, bring 3 loaves of wheat bread. Nishtarina bedufsha, soak it in honey. Nechal, eat them. V'nishtei basrayu chamer chaya, and then drink what? A full strength wine. The tzircha delibe for heart pain. Leise tlas be ninya, bring 3 egg volumes of mint. Ubeyasa the kamuna, an egg volume of cumin. Ubeyasa the shemshina, an egg volume of sesame. V'lechel and eat them. The ka'ev may, a person who has a stomach ache. Leise tlas ma'or pilpe or rechta, bring 300 kernels of long peppers. The choyuma nishtei meya minayo. B'chamer, and every day for 3 days, drink 100 of them in wine. Ravin the minarish avalei labate Ravashi. Ravin of Narish, he appeared for Ravashi's daughter who was having stomach problems. This remedy. May have a chamshe mahani didon 150 peppercorns, not 100. This yasin, she was cured. The chayirtza for the yirtza is tapeworms. And pekah the chamra ba'atrafa the ara, an ampak, a wine from a laurel leaf. The kirtza chivra for white worms. Leise bizra galgilta, bring a seed of a rocket plant. Then atzinu b'shistaga, wrap it in cotton. In Italia b'maya, soak it in water and drink it. And his dar ben binsa, be careful about the kernel. The eloy menakav le'mayana, that it shouldn't go ahead. What if it's not wrapped? It may come to go ahead and cut your intestines. I guess it was very sharp. Lemesa, to go ahead and keep you regular instead of metamucil. Cease and retiva, b'maya, fresh pennyroyal soaked in water. The mishra, get out. The mishra, you wake up for this. The mishra, go ahead for constipation, right? Yevesh Maya, dry pennyroyal soaked in water. The simanacha, the simon that you should know which one is which, is itza retiva, fresh itza, the sachan nahara that dams the river. Okay. Yeah, by Maven Yavin. The tachla for a bloated spleen, leise shev bine demaya, bring 7 water leeches. When you have shinu betula, let them dry out in the shade. Every day, drink 2 or 3 of them in wine. Bring the spleen of a goat that hadn't given birth yet. Press inside an oven. And stand there and say, just like you go ahead and dry up the spleen. The yavish tachlaya the plainly barpanisa, dry up the spleen of what, of so and so, the son of so and so. If you don't have an oven, the tachia beni urbi the base of chalta, press the spleen of the goat, the she goat, into the cracks of the bricks of the house for name hachi, and use that incantation that we just said. If not, lifke shivcha the shachiv b'shabata, should go ahead and find out someone who died on Shabbos. When the shakla yodei v'noisve tachle, take the hand of the corpse and put it on your spleen. V'nema kehechi the yavish had the yada, just like the sand dries up. The yavish tachla the plaini by planisa, so too you should dry up the spleen. V'loi neise benisa, you should bring out fish. V'nifaya beinafcha, you go ahead and roast it in a blacksmith's coal. V'nechle b'maya de beinafcha, eat it using the blacksmith's water. V'nishte b'maya de beinafcha, and drink it using the blacksmith's water. He either the havi shaisa maya de beinafcha. There was a goat that used to drink the water, blacksmith's water. They opened, they shafted it, and they found it didn't have a spleen at all. I guess very, 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 very good method. The Eloi lifta chavita the cham l'shame, that let the person open a barrel of wine for his personal use. Only Ravacha b'rei the Rav Ravashi. He islay chavita the cham. The person has his own barrel. Don't come before me to seek a cure for your spleen. Ella, what should you do? Margel b'pashakris. Eat morning. You should eat bread in the morning. The maya lekule gufe, because eating bread in the morning is good for the whole body. The rush chasa for hemorrhoids. Lacy akika ilva, bring akika and aloe. The aspircha umartarcha, quicksilver and lithraj. I'm telling you, I have no idea. The chumrin, the peelin, b'shiava, the chamita, a file and locket and dove excrement. The nikkei b'shachi, the kisna b'kaita, wrapped up in rags of flax during the summer. The amra b'gufna b'sisa, and in the winter wrap them up in cotton. The eloi lishtei shichra marka, let him drink watered down beer. The shigruna for shigruna, lese pasya de munina, bring a pot of fish brine. V'nigadrei shitin zimne aha matchasa, and roll this up 60 times on his hip. And I guess shigruna must be some type of disease of the hip. So this is instead of a hip replacement, guys. This is instead of a hip replacement. Bring a pot of fish brine, roll it on the hip 60 times. V'shitin zimne aha matchaya, and 60 times on that hip. Right. Let's mirta kidney stones, the urinary tract infections. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, something not necessarily kidney stones, but bladder stones. They say tlasni to fasta mishra de kufra, being 3 drops of tar oil, with tlasni to fisya itzra de karse, 3 drops of leek extract, with tlasni tflosya de chama nikida, 3 drops of clear wine, with the shadile leishba ama, man should put it in his aver, with the ishta by samachim, she should put it in her place. Below, let's say una de zika, bring a flask of air of a flask. For leisei leishba ama, man should go ahead and put it on his aver. Well, the isham v'dadan pumin should put it on her breast, her chest. Below, leisei chuta is a risa. Bring a red thread that was spun by a woman. The shad yaduma baduma. She's a prostitute, the daughter of a prostitute. The litli leila ishba'ama, man should then hang that red thread by his aver. Elisha badadin by it. Below, leisei kina the zach and the keva, bring a lice from the body of a man and a woman. A person should put on his aver. Elisha by semakon. When they urinate. Nashtina sisna the yeveshta betzinur the dasha, urinate on the dry thorns in the doorway. When the ayim b'chumrasa the nafkiminei, then you'll be able to see if the stone came out. The malya lekula simra, because the stone is good antidote for types of fever. In other words, the reason you would go ahead and find the stone is not to know if you passed the stone, but you use the stone for future ailments. Okay. Lit simra bara for external fever. Lacy tlosa grive souffle, bring 3 saws of date pits with tlosa grive atrif adara and 3 saw of eder leaves. Nishkalinu kolchal gufe, boil up each one separately. Lacy benayu and sit between them. Vilasminu betarte mishkale and put them in 2 basins. Venasi paroisa, bring a small table and place it over one of the basins. Venanach ilave and rest on the other one. Venekim ilave high v'lesu high and then get up from this basin, move it to the other one. Malvi high v'lesu alava high. Adenesik bechal until the vapor from the basins enters his body. Velaslim minayu, then wash the water and drink from them. Kishasim, when you drink, the maya da adora lishli, drink first from the eder water. The maya usuli lishli, don't drink from the date pits. Mishum de meikar, because they'll cause you to become sterile. The simra gavna for internal fever. Lacy shiva buni the silka mishev mishari, being 7 fistfuls of beets from 7 different beet beds. And the shkalinu ba'frayil, boil them up in their earth. V'nechal eat them. Nishtei atraf adora b'shechva, then drink a mixture of ale leaves and beer. Oy yamid aleph, oy inve talis b'maya, right? Or grapes from a vine over a palm tree. Okay, one more. Chazisa for chazis for some type of, I don't know, some type of pimples. Leisei shev chite arsenaisa, bring 7 plump wheat kernels. And the chlinu amora chada, to roast them on a new shovel. The nafik mishcha minayu, oil, the oil that comes out of them, you should go ahead and smear on the area of these pimples. He did this to a certain guy, the davar acher, as a cure for leprosy. This time, and the person got better. It even helped for that. Thank you for listening. Now you know why I need an Hagdama, because or else there was